Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy CJCreates. We're back at it again with another video. Today we have the first inaugural ever, world record Spirit Warriors podcast. I'm here with my trusty co-host Scribblecore, and we're just gonna be talking about anime. We're gonna be talking about games. We're gonna be talking about Spirit Warriors, all kind of stuff for you guys. We figured this would be more entertaining than just kind of doing like weekly videos that we were planning, talking about different topics or whatever within Spirit Warriors, and we could just talk about it live. I figured that would be a lot better. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. So just kind of starting off, um, you know, we got a million views, of course, in the first video. So you guys all know who I am, but I'll just talk about myself a little bit. You know, my name is Caleb James. I play football at Ole Miss. I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ. God called me a couple years ago to start writing, and so I did, and it's turned out super good. Um, Written the first six Spirit Warriors books. Just started writing my first book of a new series earlier this week that will hopefully come out next year, God willing. And yeah, I just like to make stuff that inspires people, helps them feel like they can accomplish their dreams and live out their God-given callings and purposes a little bit better. Just, I guess, yeah, you can go ahead, Haley, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, okay, hi. I'm also a Christian, and I've been drawing for a while, about a few years, and I've actually been writing longer than I've been drawing. A lot of them are halves and will probably stick drafts, but who knows? Right now in high school, 1 year left, and yeah, that's about it.
Absolutely. So since you're talking right now, I'll ask you, what are some of like your dreams, goals, aspirations for life?
One of my dreams is find and God's really me to do because yeah, I like art and I'm slowly getting back into writing and also reading more since I definitely used to do that a lot more when I was younger, but who knows? I still don't know for sure yet. Yeah, I want to be like a freelance artist, potentially animator, so I can make my own original stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. I want to learn how to draw too, so I can be able to draw and work on my own projects as well, stuff like that. He has a fire story coming out hopefully next year. We'll see how her writing journey takes her. She's also the editor for all of our videos and everything like that. So whenever you're laughing at her little all the clips, all the edits, everything like that, she did that. She's also our Spirit Warriors marketing liaison superstar. So she kind of does we together, but she's kind of in charge of all the different posts that we end up doing and everything like that. So yeah, she's great. Spirit Warriors would be in a dark, dark place. It would be a lot worse without her. Every time I post a chapter, she always is the first person to read it. She is the world record holder for most Spirit Warriors minutes read, pages read. She's caught up with the series, everything like that. And I love like getting to talk with her after every chapter, get her feedback, everything like that, to make sure I'm not tripping and everything. And so she's been a big part of everything that's going on, and I'm excited for her to get to step even into bigger roles and everything like that as we see to all kind of grow our brands together. And go follow her on all her social media, Instagram, X, everything like that, Scribblecore. And yeah, let's talk about just some of my dreams, goals, aspirations for life. I got big dreams. I want to um, Spirit Warriors to be the number one, comic ever, everything like that. I definitely think the story is going to be good enough for that, and then we'll just have to see about the artists, everything like that. We have a creative director for the comic that we've had for a couple of years. We've been working on everything. So once we get this artist situation solidified, I've been interviewing a lot of artists this past month, like over 30, I think. I've submitted applications, everything like that. So we're working through that. Hopefully it'll get done. Hopefully next week. That'll be great, and then we can start working or resume progress and everything like that for the comic to come out. Um, Another series that we're launching next year, and once we get everything kind of situated with this one, so hopefully that will go really well too. And so those will kind of be concurrent going on for a long time. It's gonna take Spirit Warriors, especially the comic and the books, a long time to finish. So we'll be working on marketing, doing all those things for a long time. Um, I would hope to make the NFL. We'll see how it goes. I know I'm good enough, but we'll just see, what God's gonna do with all that. Um, if it doesn't work out, I definitely want to coach in college. So that's probably something that's all going to be worked out and resolved in this next year. Um, I'm going to hopefully attend creative writing master school at Ole Miss. next fall. So then I'll kind of, get some more writing education, and I'll probably be like, hopefully be a football coach and like a writing professor. If NFL doesn't work out, that'd be pretty dope. Um, I want to open like my own animation and comic art studio, everything like that. Um, might put Haley in charge. You know what I'm saying? Who knows at that point when we get there in the future. Um, but yeah, in the future, and just kind of like give people spaces to, be able to make their voice heard, and share a lot of stories that bring God glory. I think that'd be really dope. And yeah, just lots of dreams, lots of goals, lots of ambitions, plans that go far beyond that. But I'm sure we'll have time for those kind of things later on. But so yeah, so Haley, if the next 5 years of your life went perfectly, tell us about that. Like, how would you, um, line that up, everything like that, like kind of year by year, and as much detail as you want to get.
So if the next 5 of my life went perfectly, I would graduate early and
From high
really
school or college?
focus that time high school.
Got you.
I would focus that time more on, it will probably take like a gap year and really focus on building and really get to my relationship with God, improving my art, and probably work on my story as well. 'Cause right now, I have my main one and my idea for another one,
I never heard
which
that.
right those they're both in development, and I have ideas for both of those.
You holding out on me. I don't know anything about the second one. I just let you read the first chapter of my second one, but you haven't even told me about your second one. That's crazy work.
Well, my second one, it's pretty much inspired by One Piece I made for an art competition,
Hmm.
which now looking back at it, I don't really like it. But if I didn't make it, then I don't think I would have gotten that idea by myself either, though. So
Yeah, absolutely. Is it the one that you submitted for the competition for school that you did really well on?
yeah.
What don't you like about it? I think it's fire. We'll have to, whenever
Um,
in post production, we'll have to add it, put it on here. 'Cause I think it looks
yeah,
great. The judges thought it looked great.
cause at first I really want it, but I think like now that my art's kind of changed as well, and because I've been drawing it all this time over the weeks I had to do it, I feel I had an idea that could have kept my vision better.
It makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. I'm gonna have to sue you too, since you're stealing our stars theme from Spirit Warriors. You know what I'm saying? Or James, he's gonna sue
I
you
drew
actually.
that first.
There's no way.
No,
Spirit Warriors. That was three. I started that 3 years ago. So you have to talk to James, talk to the lawyer, talk to Samad.
they'll they can song to me.
So you're saying that you have. So you started that before I started writing. Actually, it wasn't even 3 years ago. It was like 4 years ago now. I think at this point, you were in middle school.
And I was writing before they got written
I don't know about all that.
and drawing.
We'll have to check the documents. I don't know about all that. But yeah, no, sounds dope. Do you have any colleges in mind right now that are gonna be graced by your presence?
Right now, I have A&M in mind. I will to go there, but I'm just leaving it up to God.
Absolutely.
He'll show me where he needs me to go or
Absolutely.
wants me to go.
Yep, he's definitely done that for me through this crazy, crazy, crazy college experience that I've had so far. And yeah, what you said earlier too about, oh, this didn't happen, then might not have got the inspiration for that. I've got tons of stories for that. I don't think I probably would even be here on this podcast right now, writing or anything like that. Things hadn't gone pretty much exactly the way they went during the time that I was at. Even God uses those difficult situations to get us to where He wants us to be in some aspect. I guess I'll kind of speak to the question as well. The next 5 years of my life kind of lined up ideally. Ideally, the next 5 years, like after this upcoming season, I'd be in the NFL and playing in the falls, and then using the off seasons to continue to develop Spirit Warriors and my next comic idea, everything like that.
Mhm.
But if that didn't work out, then I'll just say, just kind of coaching, finishing, creative writing masters, and everything like that. Yeah, hopefully get married in the next couple years. I'm definitely single, ladies. You know what I'm saying? So hit me up, hit me up. But yeah, so definitely want my own like RDC. They've definitely been like a huge inspiration. Love Mark. Hopefully we get to meet him next year at DreamCon. I was gonna go this year, but I spent my May kind of volunteering at these Christian camps and stuff like that, and the dates conflicted, so I wasn't able to be at DreamCon. But we should be there next year. We should be there next year. You should be able to see us. We'll have our own Spirit Warriors booth set up, everything like that. So come say what's up. But yeah, hopefully we'll Spirit Warriors have anime in the next couple of years too. That'll be really dope. And just the comics, just everything, just continuing to grow. Hopefully it's at a point to where we can make some real bread off of it, so that we can use that to continue to grow all the other assets playing. Before we go on to the next section,
Yeah.
did you have any questions, anything you want to add in?
No, we can move on.
All right. So now this is kind of going to be like our weekly news, weekly update date, just everything that's going on in like the gaming world, anime, movies, this and that. Our first topic for the news update section is going to be Superman, the movie that just came out recently. I know Haley, she was being a hater just like me, and she didn't want to go see it. But I was being a hater for good reasons though. I don't know her reasons. I don't know what she'd be doing. But me,
It looked
I,
trash.
it did not seem like it was gonna be that good. I agree, and I wasn't even gonna go see it. I just didn't have anything else to do on Saturday. But it was actually really good. It was really good. I'd give it like an 8.5 to a 9 and stuff like that. And that kind of will lead into like another topic that she kind of didn't grow up on Marvel and everything like that in the same way that I did. So she kind of has less desire in a way. But it was really good. It was good. I've seen a lot of the critical discourse about it, stuff like that. I honestly think a lot of what the critics are saying is kind of overblown. The main point that I could agree with is that even though it was a good movie, I will say that if it does feel like it's like the year two or like the second movie in like a yearly like Marvel release cycle, like the second or third Superman movie, just kind of like casually sprinkled in more so than it feels like the first Superman movie of like that character. I don't know if that makes sense. Like how Spider-Man was the first one, or like with Marvel and stuff like that. I feel like okay, like this is a better example. Like Iron Man 1. This Superman movie was not as good as Iron Man 1 in the sense of establishing like the whole continuity going forward and everything like that. And it like how that was an
Mhm.
Iron Man movie. This didn't feel like it was a Superman movie in the way that one was an Iron Man movie. But it was still a really good movie. It did a good job. It focused on aspects of Superman that we don't get to see super often. I think Lex was a good villain for sure. Probably great. I wouldn't give him excellent. One of my pet peeves, what I could talk about all day, I was talking to my dad about it for on the phone for hours the other day, is when villains are supposed to be smart and then they're not. That really bothers me. You don't have to worry about that in Spirit Warriors. So, but I think he did a really good job. He was smart. He had good plans. He had everything set up well and everything like that. Those are just kind of like my initial thoughts. I don't know how I feel about Supergirl, which you'll see that in the post credit, but we'll see. We'll see. It was definitely good enough for me to want to keep watching this new DC continuity and see how they're gonna do it. So for you, Haley, what is kind of like your feelings, opinions in general about Marvel and DC, given that you kind of didn't grow up on it in the same way that we did? Because like that was kind of like our anime, if that makes sense,
Mhm.
growing up and stuff like that, which is kind of like what it is for you and yours and stuff like that. So what's your opinion on those? Just given what you've seen.
Honestly, it definitely had its moments, like its good moments that you think like, oh, this is why people like Osama, and then it also had is who approved this, like who in production allowed this to be released to the public, and whoever allowed this, they need to be reconsidered.
Who are some of those people? Like, what was some of those? Sorry, what was some of those decisions or things?
She-Hulk.
Yeah. This whole most
Mm,
recent phase of Marvel needed more time to cook in the oven.
it
What do
should it shouldn't have even became a recipe.
Nah, facts. That's real. The only good thing to me. Did you see the Spider-Man No Way Home?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably the only one that was really good to me. I think Guardians was all right. I think Doctor Strange was good, but the rest of it, I don't even think I remembered. This is the first time in my life I used to watch every Marvel thing, and then now I stopped. I don't remember when I stopped. It was a
Wasn't
while ago.
or was it Captain Marvel?
She didn't get a new
Because I
movie,
know
but
I had
they made a movie called The Marvels, which I went to go see, and I wish I could have my money back.
I think there was like a different series we watched like a long time ago back. Like I think it was like Miss Marvel or something.
I think that is what it was called with the Kamala Khan and stuff like that. Not very good again. I think all of their stuff, especially because it was just established, iconic characters in a lot of the sense, they could have done a really good job with it, but they did not pick good stories to tell. Or if they did, they did not. But yeah, I grew up on Marvel, DC, all that. Not the comics, but the shows and movies and stuff like that. And so I'll always love it, but not what we've been doing recently. But Superman, good start to the next thing we've got. Marvel, we'll see. I mean, I don't think Fantastic Four is gonna be any good. I didn't even watch Thunderbolts. I heard too much. I heard Power of Friendship is how they won in the end, and I get it from what I
Mm-mm.
heard. Like Sentry was super OP, so they couldn't have done it. But it's just like, I mean, I'm a writer. I get what they were going for. I heard it was kind of funny, but I don't know. That is other people's prerogative if they want to do that. But yeah, so kind of our leading into the next topic. I think that anime is kind of like turning into like the new Marvel. I feel like Solo Leveling just went insane. I'm not the biggest solo leveling fan in the world. Gasp, I know, but it was like crazy. One Piece is super big, and I feel like anime is kind of stepping into those spaces that Marvel and DC were in until they either do or don't get their spot back. So, what do you think? What do you think about that topic?
Well, I think that's true. They are staying in that place because Marvel isn't giving people what they want to watch. So of course, like if your franchise is releasing trash, you're not gonna want to watch it. And if they've been consistently releasing trash or stuff that has not been that good, then say they release something really good, you're not gonna be inclined to watch it.
Yep, absolutely.
So it's all like with Disney, for example, and how they have definitely been releasing trash too. Anime is definitely replacing you because, of course, y'all are not releasing anything really good. Y'all just keep making live actions no one asked for.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. And I'm sure, I'm sure we'll talk about Marvel plenty on this podcast, this episode, and others. And there's millions of other people that have talked about and chronicled Marvel's downfall and everything like that. So we won't beat a dead horse. But yeah, hoping for the best. Hoping that hopefully Fantastic Four makes me feel how Superman made me feel. Because like from what I heard, people saying like the critics and stuff about Superman before, they were like, oh, it's not good, this and that. And I got in there and I was like, man, this is pretty good. I feel like the beginning could have been a little bit better. Like not to spoil stuff for people who haven't seen it because it hasn't even been a week yet. But after that, it gets really good and it keeps going. And I was literally sitting there the whole time thinking like, well, the critics said the movie wasn't good, so I'm kind of waiting for the ball to drop. But it never really did to me. I think there was a little bit of stuff here and there at the end that was like, okay, and this a little bit better. But it wasn't anything that was crazy. It was also that I could look over, especially because the movie was, good enough and a lot of the other. But
Mhm.
yeah, now for kind of our next part of this topic, what are your thoughts on anime movies, just in general, and whatever you want to speak to?
I haven't seen that many anime movies. Like, I think the only ones at the top of my head I can really think of right now are like Jujutsu Kaisen Zero and the Mugen Train or Demon Slayer's Mugen Train, and I like both of those. So
Yeah,
I think movies are fun. Like as long as it's interesting, or it's relevant, or even if it's not relevant, like, as long as it's interesting and you execute what you want to say well, or you have good execution, good ideas, or even bad ideas with execution that make it better than how it originally sounds, then I'm fine with it. I don't really care.
yeah, for sure. I think anime movies they have a really bad reputation overall, but I think kind of Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen, like you said, are kind of like what ended up shifting that in a lot of perspective. You're most definitely a
Oh,
trader.
and Sword of the Wizard King or Black Clover.
Yeah, I mean the animation on it was crazy. It was way better than the show, but that was still like an anime movie to me. Like I don't like those non-canon movies unless they're really good and they have like actually like a really good plot. Like the only one
Mhm.
that comes to mind for me are the My Hero movies, other than the last one. The last one was good, the one that came out last year, but
Mhm.
and all those My Hero movies were really good. The second one is like phenomenal. Oh, the third one wasn't that good. But overall, the My Hero movies are really good. And I think it needs to be a story of like that caliber if it's going to really hit for me and make me like want to go see a non-canon movie. Especially when it's not, I don't know, like it would have to be, I have to really, really like the series. Like, it would have to be like something like My Hero, which was my first anime and everything like that for me to want to go watch it. Go out of my way and spend money. I promise I'm not cheap, Chad. I just got a lot of things to do. I got chapters to write for y'all. I got chapters to edit. I got a new series I'm working on. I got a lot of stuff to do. I play football. I got class. So like for me to go out of my way is
Yeah, I get it.
yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I'm excited for Demon Slayer movie. I think Chainsaw movie is gonna be good. Chainsaw Man movie, and yeah, I think we're moving in a better direction for anime movies. Like, man, I was watching one of them Hunter x Hunter movies. Were you there? Were you there when we watched that movie? The one, oh man, see, where they were fighting like the clones of
Um,
themselves or whatever, something like that. They ended up they
it
were in the
sounds
church.
familiar.
Yeah,
It's just
that
been a long time.
that was trash. A lot of anime movies that I've seen have not been good. Yeah, but it seems like we're on the up and up. What I was gonna say before too is that I feel like you're a traitor because how you gonna disrespect the anime movie that you most recently saw? That golden movie.
I didn't disrespect it.
You didn't mention it.
You're just now bringing it up.
You didn't mention it. But yeah, it's the
I
we
was thinking at the top of my head.
I know, I'm just messing. But we're talking about the Don Don movie, which was like the first three episodes, stuff like that. Don Don is my all-time number one right now, having read the manga and everything like that. I'm not saying like it has the highest, like if we, that's probably one thing we'll do on another podcast is we'll rank the anime that we've seen and stuff like that. Come up with our own metric system, everything like that. I don't think it has the perfect peak highest in every single category, but I think it has the highest cumulative. Yeah, like it just is like I love just how stylized the story is, how unique it is, how it's pretty close to perfect for me. The only thing, like not to spoil anything, being a manga reader, is there are some art later on that feel like they drag a little bit, but it's nowhere near like older shows. Or it was just like on that reading on that week to week basis. It was like, all right, we could pick this up a little bit. But I feel like in the show they're gonna handle it a lot better, which is really what matters to me at the end of the day. I feel like the show is kind of like the final judge that people have of series and everything like that. Yeah, hopefully we'll get a Spirit Warriors movie in a couple years. I'll be directing it so that we can get it to where it needs to be
Hmm.
and have a plot, so it's not like anime movies of that. But yeah, you have anything else for this one? Before we move on.
Nope.
All right. Now we'll talk about anime games kind of as a topic. Why are anime games not that great? Tell us, Haley.
I think they're not that great because the Jujutsu Kaisen game, for example, that game was not great because it didn't bring anything new to the table, and I think that they released it too early.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
Because imagine that if they released it and we had all of season one, hidden inventory, and Shibuya, all of that just
mhm.
in one game.
Yeah, it should have been peak. It should have been amazing. Exactly what you're saying. Like all of the anime games.
And also
Go ahead.
because they're just not high quality. I remember a YouTube video of someone playing it. They literally only had pictures of the characters while they were talking.
Yeah.
Like it was a slideshow.
Yep. And I don't know if you
Like,
if you saw like the ultimates
no,
and the domain expansions. Like when I saw it, looked
they
like it
look
was.
cheap. That's
Yeah.
Jujutsu Kaisen at home.
Not for real. Like I understand they want to come out with it like well to capitalize on the popularity of the show and everything like that. Like they want to strike while the iron is hot. But like
There's a time and place for everything. You picked the wrong time.
not for real. Like I know you made money, but it's like come on man. Like
You
give
could have
us
made
exactly. Yeah, if you would have given us a good product.
you could have made more money and give the fans what they wanted, which gets you more money anyway.
Yep, I know
Why
that.
sacrifice quality for that?
Well, there's a lot of reasons why they do it, which I've kind of studied some of those. But mainly, to me, it's just like you're saying, I feel like they should give the people what they want. Like, if they gave us a full Jujutsu Kaisen game, that could have been amazing. Like, it doesn't even just have to be like a fighting game. They don't all have to be just fighting games, too. Like, I think the first Demon Slayer game that came out did
Mm,
a pretty good job. They had some cool stuff like where you could play in the open world and different things like that. Like give
mm,
us that. I feel like people would love that. I really do feel like if they just took the time to like fully make the games, like be innovative instead of just, kind of going for the cash grab. Anime games could like really take over and be some of the top games. Like that's like just like a space that's
yeah,
just not being utilized well right now. That's why we got to get the Spirit Warriors game going in a couple of years. Saturday AM they got a game. I think it's just a fighting it's a fighting game.
I think so.
Yeah, they got a game, so we got to get Spirit Warriors on the game. That's why we need y'all to scan this
Mhm.
QR code, scan that QR code, and buy some books and support the comic, and so get on the Patreon and everything like that, so that we can get our anime, get a game, everything like that. But yeah, so I think the Hunter x Hunter game comes out this month. You gonna buy it? You gonna play it?
Mm-mm. I don't care about Hunter x Hunter enough to go out of my way to buy a game to play it.
What
I
do you?
like the show, I like the story and stuff, but I'm not like a mega fan. I like it, but I wouldn't want like I can live without a video game of it.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
We'll see about the reviews too.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's just gonna be like another same old anime game. Yeah, Hunter x Hunter. Yeah, we'll get to Hunter x Hunter probably next week. We'll probably rank our. I've got my own spicy hot takes on Hunter x Hunter. But yeah, what do you think about the second Demon Slayer game coming out? I think this fall. I don't know.
I haven't heard much about it personally, but if it's anything like the first game, then I'll consider playing it.
Yeah, I think that first, to me, I haven't played a million anime games, and I know that some of them were good for the time that they came out. But I'm talking about like standing the test of time, for real.
Mhm.
And I think that the first Demon Slayer game was one of the better ones that I've definitely played.
Definitely.
And like I was saying, they have those other elements of the game that you can play. I'm not a super online competitive gamer at anything. I used to like I play a lot of games, I play a lot of RPGs and stuff like that, especially when I had more time before college and stuff. So I am a gamer, trust. But I don't know what like the high end, competitive combat or gameplay is like balance, everything like that. Like I heard Akaza was super
Yeah.
broken forever. But everything outside of that aspect, which I can't speak to, seemed like it was really, really good. And I'm sure they'll do a good job with the second game, but it really second game to me it would just been an update or a patch. Don't need to sell another game, but
Yeah, definitely.
like I said, I get it. I guess the Bleach game came out, and I think a lot of people liked it. I don't know. I haven't seen Bleach yet.
They had a One Punch Man game a while back. I don't know when exactly it came out, but It was pretty good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
it was a minute ago. Probably won't be getting another one if they don't get the second season together. Oh, I'm gonna be so sad if the second season is trash, but it seems like it's gonna be. I've
Mm,
read like this next arc, and it truly, to me, this next arc of One Punch Man is like up there with like the Shibuya incident of Jujutsu Kaisen and all the best arcs of Demon Slayer and just all your favorite shows. But we'll see if the studio
yeah.
can get it together because I've heard nothing but bad things about it, unfortunately. But yeah, anything else on this topic, and we'll move on to the next one.
Nope.
All right. Next, we will talk about what anime we are watching this anime season. So, what are you watching this season?
Right now, I'm getting back into watching Fire Force again.
Really? Oh yeah, you were. I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, they had the Epios copycat in that show. You were telling me about that. So, what's your experience been like with Fire Force? I think the last
I
part of
think
it's coming out.
that it has been crazy.
Yeah. Don't spoil it, but like give us your
Yeah, I won't
thoughts.
get any spoilers. I think that I still don't like Arthur. I still
Who's
think
better?
his
Who's
haircut
better?
is stupid.
Who's better, Arthur or Epios?
He looks like a knockoff Karapika.
He does look like Propaganda from what I saw briefly that episode. Who's better, Epios or him?
Neither. But
Wow.
if I had to be stuck in a room with them, I would probably pick Arthur.
Oh, you the Arthur. Oh, that's crazy. I'm about to get Epios on the
Hmm.
phone after this. I don't think he's gonna take kindly to
Because they're both delusional.
that.
Arthur's just a kid, though.
That's fair. That's fair. Epios is a
Evios is a
grown man.
grown man
He is a
and
grown man.
delusional.
That's fair.
That is worse.
That's fair. That is fair. But now keep going. Keep.
But I think that has gone more interesting since starting.
Where are you at?
I'm at episode 10.
Yeah, I got to episode two. Not to say, I'm not calling it trash. It's just I don't think there's a start was particularly unique and
Hmm.
inventive enough to really make me want to watch the rest. And I have a lot of shows that I need to watch for research purposes. I have a lot of work to do, writing wise, and all that. And for me to want to sit and watch the show, it's gotta definitely be compelling. I don't have TikTok brain, I promise. And I know I did give it the 3 episode rule, and I've heard how good it is, and this and that. But I was just very uninspired.
Or I really like the opening song for the most part.
I know. I was so sad because like that opening song, I picked it for one of Spirit Warriors ones once we get an anime. But yeah, they stole it from me. Even though I tried to steal it from them, I guess. I think my idea for it, my music video for it is a lot better than the one that they used.
Theirs is not bad, but it's just alright.
Yeah, exactly. I think the visual part of it is just all right. Put some of it on the screen in the middle. But yeah, it could be a lot better. Mine is a lot better than what. I might still use it. Show them how to use
Mhm.
it. No shade to them. But I guess just finish what I was saying. I was just like, it just wasn't a super inspiring start to me. I will get to it because I know the last or the last season is coming out next spring or next winter. I think like January. So I will probably
Yeah.
go ahead and watch it and catch up at that point.
Another anime I'm waiting on is Kaiju number 8. Comes out in 3 days.
Yeah, on Saturday. Recording this on a Wednesday. But yeah. So tell us why you're excited for Kaiju number 8.
It's for Kaiju number 8 because I think that it's interesting. The first season was good, and it was think enough for me to keep watching it, even if I was kind of on and off with it.
Yeah, I like Kaiju number 8. I've heard from my friends who read manga that it doesn't always live up to its potential, which is disappointing. I have no idea. I haven't seen it. I don't know what my opinion of it is going to be. I don't know how the anime could amplify some areas of the manga, spread its wings a little bit more, I guess, whatever you want to say. But yeah, I think first season was
Hmm.
good. I was really excited about it at the beginning, and excitement fluctuated a little bit, but they have some good concepts and stuff like that. I still call it budget Attack on Titan with some of the concepts that they have and everything like that. But I like it. It's interesting. I don't think the characters are all that compelling. Like I like Mina, main character. He's cool. A lot of people give the show praise for using an older man, I guess, for a protagonist, and I guess give some credit for that. But I don't think like the main dude, who's his friend, who's in the defense force. I don't remember his name, the gray hair. I don't think he's all that compelling either yet. But oh, Shinomiya, now she a dog. I rock with her. Even when she was acting sus a little crazy at the beginning of the show, I still liked her. I saw the development. And then I don't really feel like I know it's just the first season, only 12 episodes, but it's like I don't feel like the rest of the cast were developed super well. But we'll see how it goes. Next one, yeah, it was kind of crazy too at the end with how Kafka saved them from Bro Big Red, and then and then they still turned on Bro like that. Like that was kind of wild, but we'll see. The show definitely has a lot of potential. Like it could be what I was kind of hoping for from Attack on Titan in some aspects. Like when I was watching it at the beginning, Attack on Titan, I was like, oh, it'd be crazy. Like the Titans like really had their own society hierarchy. Like they rolled by like a I don't know, like a Super Titan or something like that, and like get into politics with like that kind of society and this and that. Attack on Titan is still peak.
Yeah.
Like it's still top three probably for me doing what it did, but it didn't do that, which was something that I would thought would have been cool. And so it would be cool if Kaiju number eight does tap into some of that. I think it's very interesting. What else you watching?
Right now, I'm trying to watch some older anime, mostly because I like the art style from that time, and I want to see pretty much what they did and why I like it. Like one example is Cardcaptor Sakura. It's shorter than I thought it was. It's only 75 episodes.
A lot.
I haven't started watching it yet, but I'll get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, starting out reading One Piece again. Right now, I'm at 950 something.
How many are out? Is it 2,000 or something?
I think probably about that amount.
Yeah. No, keep going, keep going.
But I started reading it again. I think it's good. It makes me read more. I probably wouldn't use it for our reference mostly because it is very stylized and it's just not a style I'm interested in. But it's bad.
Very wide, very unique. Yeah. Shows I'm watching this season. My dog, Dawn to Dawn. I love Dawn to Dawn. I can't wait for next week whenever we get like the new content that was in the movie and everything like that.
Yeah.
Dawn to Dawn is just peak. It's just peak. I don't know what to say. Animation, story, characters,
Mhm.
character writing, comedy, everything like that. It's just peak. What did you think about Dawn to Dawn watching the movie? I have not read it or anything.
I did read a little bit of it at the time, but it was a long time ago.
Hmm.
We liked it, even if it's been a while since I read it and actually getting to see it animated.
Yeah. What do you think about Evil Eye?
I think Evil Eye needs some parents.
No facts. I don't know where his parents are. Where were they? They must have been dead to let them have.
I want to know. You were telling me everyone in that era, they were just letting the Keto family sacrifice children?
Well, I think they were like tribal chiefs.
They were just okay with this?
Well, they believed like that's kind of like what they're getting at, like the be careful of the rumors and different things that you believe and like just that you hear and stuff
Yeah.
like that, because they said that sacrificing the child every year is what keeps the volcano from going off. That was like their legend, their rumor, and they all
Yeah.
believed it. I mean, that's how it be. That's how it was back. Yeah, that's why they were okay with it. But yeah, but no, I love Dawn to Dawn. Another thing I'm watching, another goat, To Be Hero. I think if Dawn to Dawn did not come out last year, To Be Hero would be on track for probably best first season ever from any anime that I've seen. What do you think about To
Mhm.
Be Hero?
I think that it's good. It's interesting, and I think that it can be a little like we went from that main character guy to Moon, and all of a sudden, all of these new characters
Yeah, I mean, I see what they're trying
because
to
it was
do.
kind
I mean,
of abrupt.
it was abrupt, but I think they did it intentionally. I think it works, even though it's interesting. It's pretty unique. Like, because what they're doing is they're setting up all 10 of the top 10 heroes, and then in the next season they're gonna do a tournament arc. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard. And so, I mean, I see what
Mhm.
they're doing. Do I wish some of it we could have gotten like closure, to some of the story, even though I understand how leaving them open in some ways, like to interact in the tournament, like is gonna be great. Like I trust the
Mhm.
writers. I think they're doing a great job. But it would have been kind of
Mhm.
cool to get a little bit more closure at times, stuff like that. A cliffhanger that they left us on with Nice is devious. It's insane, and that's a big draw too to me. I give them props for it because like it makes me want to keep watching the shows you like, so we can get back to that eventually. But I do think that most of the
Mhm.
heroes that they've done are really good. I think like the first four episodes, perfect 10, and then the third one being maybe a little bit less, like eight, 8.5. But kind of
Yeah.
what I've noticed, like the trend for them is like in the ones that where we got three episodes per character, the first one is just okay, second one is good, third one is great. And so yeah, I feel like that's definitely kind of tracked too with the most recent one that we've been on, like leading into Ghostblade and stuff like that. If you count the
Yeah.
third Ghostblade one, like that one was great. Into pink haired girl story. I don't know her name.
Loli,
Oh, that's her name.
or
That's
I
funny.
think.
But no, like Queens was really good. I mean, we only got two episodes of it. I love Cyan. I love like what they did with her character and stuff like that. I think there's so much more potential to her part that they didn't really tap into, and think that they could have done better in her part. But we'll see if they really like explore those things. I think her character and everything they is really good. It kind of adds more inspiration to another character that I'm gonna do in my third anime that's not gonna come out for a very 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 be Hero X. It's on Crunchyroll. Y'all should definitely go watch it. What do you think about the first two episodes of Got Yakudo?
They're good. They did a good job for setup. And like y'all are really open firing at someone for stealing the trash you were gonna into the pit anyways.
Not for real. Like that's real
That's
prejudice.
kind of
That's
goofy.
that's real
That's a
hatred.
waste of y'all's bullets.
Nah, facts. That's some Lex Luthor
Because if
hating
you're gonna
right
toss
there.
it into the pit anyway, first of all, why are y'all locking that trash up in rooms? Is
That's
that
true.
trash or radioactive waste?
I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, if you're gonna throw it away anyway, who cares if someone takes it?
Yep. I mean, I don't know the law. I
If,
mean, I
if
know.
anything, you think they dump it on the people on the outside of the city wall because they don't want it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It'll be interesting to see if throughout this story, because I haven't read Gachiaga, probably read it after this first season, especially depending on what the production timeline for the next season is going to be. It'll be interesting. I want us to get like a real perspective of a character who lives like up there and stuff like that. Like it'll be interesting to me
Hmm.
if like I think Chiwa is her name. Like if she gets to move
Yeah.
into the city or whatever and stuff like that, get to see like her perspective. I think that could be really good. Like there's definitely a lot of great potential with what they set up and stuff like that. Rudo's my dog. I rock with him heavy, and so yeah, we'll see. The only thing I get the symbolism, I get everything they're going for with the opening song, but not how I would have done it. I probably would have done it like more of a
Mm-hmm.
modern, I don't know, style. I love To Be Heroes, love Down to Dawns. I love that kind of style. I don't really like opening song. Not the song, just like the animation. At least that goes with it. Did you see the opening for that one?
I don't think I have.
Got you. Yeah. Well, it's not that great to me, but you might like it. Different strokes for different folks. But I think Sakamoto Days comes out on Saturday too. What do you think about that?
I think that the start of Sagamon Days was actually interesting, but then we're into it, it got worse. It was like, okay, cool, we have this former assassin who retired and settled down, right? And now we get to see his life. That's interesting. Like, we have a guy who can read minds. How can he read minds?
Some people, I guess, they just got superpowers in it. Oh, they said the lab. Remember the kid? Or when he was a kid, he was in that
Oh, the
lab.
lad.
Yeah, they did the experiments on him. But no, I agree. I think the way the anime portrayed it, these concepts that you're talking about are a lot more interesting than the execution that they gave us with it. I think Shin, I think that's his name, the mind reader. I think he's a good character. I think
Mm-hmm.
Sakamoto is great. The rest, just the way the first season was, I really just feel like the not to
Mm-hmm.
talk down on anybody, but I feel like the director for that season was not extremely in touch with modern anime, and I feel like that even shows like in the opening song. Like that looked like it was like a Bleach, a Bleach opening or something like that. Like one of the beginning ones from what I've seen of it, like just like an older anime opening. It doesn't resemble anything like what they're like these days. Not very
Mm-hmm.
good, and I feel like that kind of bled into the way the show was produced. But I've heard that the second season is going to be really, really, really good. I'm actually excited for that. And I heard like the first season or the second season is so good that like I heard from one person that they were like they the way Netflix did the first season, it would have been better for them to just not even do it basically and just give us like a brief recap,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and then just started the show with the second season because the second season is that good. That's what I've heard. So I'm excited. I don't those
Mm-hmm.
criminals, death row criminals, whatever that they let out, they don't look particularly interesting to me. I've heard a lot of good things about it. So and I know them
Yeah.
everyone loves the manga, it's critically acclaimed, everything like that. So I'll be excited to get to those parts. And I will say that as Sakamoto Days season one went on, I kind of was down on it, and then I started to enjoy it more. Some of the stuff that was happening was fun to me. I don't know. Whenever they went to that their resort place or whatever, like
Yeah.
yeah, that was some funny stuff. I'm not gonna lie. They have some good comedy and stuff like that. Like, I enjoyed the casino stuff. There's a lot that they could be doing, but they can do with these concepts they set up. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited to um, hopefully see that in the free run. I haven't finished it yet. I'm probably like halfway. I'm like right before the Magic
I haven't
tournament in the
seen it.
second half. You should definitely watch it. It's great, phenomenal writing. You can learn a lot about character writing, everything like that from it. It's really good. Should have, if we're gonna give anyone anime of the year, it should have been free run over solo leveling. We can talk about that another time. How do you feel about Black Clover season two being announced? I think it's coming out next year.
Yeah, I was surprised that when it first announced because I did forget about it because it's been so long.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
And I kind of stopped reading the manga mostly because I just got busy, really. And
Yeah,
also forgot.
I know they had a lot of hiatuses as well. Just never fault anybody for that with the way that they do things over there. Some respect. Yeah, I'm excited. I think Black Clover is going to be peak when it comes back. They ended it off in just the most awkward spot ever, but I
Hmm.
think it's going to be really good to get to see them go against the Dark Triad and stuff like that. I've heard some people say
Yeah.
that there's some crazy stuff going on, but if something that happens later, but we'll see. As long as my dog Yami don't die, I'll be all right with pretty much generally whatever happens. So Yami,
Hmm.
that's my dog. He kind of gave some inspiration to Akpa, the Ocean Archegos, which who we see in the last chapter of the Spirit Warriors book. Yeah, you have anything else on the kind of our anime topics, or are you ready to go ahead and move into our Spirit Warriors talk?
We can move into the Spirit Warriors talk when you're ready.
Okay, so I've got some questions for you, and then I know you got a lot of questions for me. So, asking you, if you remember years ago when I first started writing, what has basically like your experience been like getting to read the chapters as I write them before they get to come out to everybody else in this book? Uh, it's it's up there. Yeah, it's up there. It's back there
Yeah.
too. But yeah.
Really, it was getting back into really reading in general. And earlier, I did read a lot. I was younger, then
Same.
I just stopped.
Same.
And then suddenly having longer pages than or I was used to, it was an adjustment.
Mhm.
But I think that it was cool to see the chapters as they came out and having something to look forward to as well, knowing that they're gonna come out at X time,
Mhm.
even if I would have to read them in the morning
Yeah.
before I went to school. I think as well that it's a referent for me as I'm getting back into writing as well. And it's something I can look back at. One of my questions actually.
Mhm. No, for sure. Yeah, and which we'll definitely get into. Yeah, I can't wait for you to come out with your chapters of your story, stuff like that, and for me to get to read them and go through the same kind of experience with you. Yeah, no, go ahead. Get into the Spirit Warriors talk for today. We're kind of gonna be covering the prologue and chapter one.
Like how do you write banter like with James and his parents?
I spent a lot of time working on the characters before I even ever write them, so I have tons of ideas for things that they would say, like jokes.
Mm-hmm.
I usually have like hundreds of pages in my phone just from living life and experiencing things and from shows
Yeah.
that I watch and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, that's something that Terrence would say. Or that's something that Epios would say, or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
then I'll take that down and then I kind of work it in if I, get a chance to it or if it fits and everything like that. Like specifically for James, and I mean, that was easy because, you know, James's family is loosely based off of ours. So I mean, those dynamics were super easy. I mean, it's right what I've been living. But like especially for other characters, definitely just try to stay in character for them. Think about how would they see the world in this um, situation? Like what are they experiencing right now? That's why I try to kind of say think through things in their head, whether the chapter is from their perspective or not.
Yeah, how did you decide on writing in first person with each character?
I think what I wanted to kind of do was at least have one section within this arc where everyone in the main kind of group that will be following throughout the story got their own first person section. One, just kind of have some experience doing it before the next arc, because the next arc that I have recently started working on, they're all going to have extensive sections that are from their individual POVs. So I definitely think of the scene from like all the aspects or different perspectives. And the most important thing is I think about, are there thoughts, interactions, information that I need to show that's important to the scene or important to things that are going to be happening in the future that they wouldn't know. If I'm going to have to cut to a conversation in another room, for example, I have to do that whole scene in third person or I'm going to have to do another cut. And I make those very purposeful, deliberate, not overuse them and stuff like that. I try to stick to first
Mm-hmm.
person. I always use third person generally for fights and such because I can kind of detail the action a lot more and it's not just what that one person is seeing. I can kind of show what both people are thinking, their thought processes, their strategies, all stuff like that, which is kind of why I use the third person. For those kind of scenes, then I try to stick to first person to keep it in James's head and stuff like that because he is a very funny guy to me.
What do you think about writing monologues for characters? And when are they good to have? And how can they influence a reader's experience when reading it? Do you think that they can be distracting?
It depends. I like to keep the pacing going. I like to keep the story flowing and moving and stuff like that. So I only really use monologues when I feel like we're really conveying something that's very important to the character and important to the story going
Yeah.
forward, and like we're really fleshing things out and giving important information. That's the only reason why I would stop progress generally. And it's not really even stopping progress, it's progress in a different direction that's ultimately going to get us to the same goal that we're looking to get to. I do think that if we have too many monologues that are too long, too close together, with not much else going on, then yeah, it gets boring. It can be distracting. It's like, all right, we get it. And so definitely try to avoid those. And if I do a monologue, I definitely try to keep it stylized for that character in their perspective.
Did you have any other ideas originally for the first chapter? Did you always plan on having a prologue, or was it just gonna start in the first chapter?
I was always gonna have a prologue because I thought about kind of just how the story is structured, and with the first chapter, well, at least the first half to 66% or so, is not fantasy. It's James's backstory, status quo before the fantasy kind of breaks into it. And I always knew I was gonna have a prologue, show people that hey, this is a fantasy book. This is the stuff that we're going to be getting into, but I wanted to take the ample time with James's backstory to kind of show you who he is before we get
Mm-hmm.
into the fantasy aspect, to show him like kind of what he is losing, like what he has to lose, like why it's important to him, build that reader connection with him before his life gets turned upside down, everything like that. So yeah, I always knew I was gonna have a prologue, and what I have gone back and forth with a lot all the way up until the release of the book was how long to make that part with James's time on Earth before he goes to the spirit world and everything like that. I had to keep it like super lean. I just wanted to get to the fantasy, the action, everything like that. I got a lot of feedback from people that were like, no, we wanted to hear more about James. We want to know more about what his life is like on Earth. And I went back and forth a lot with that. I know that we have TikTok brains these days, and so they're like, all right, when's it gonna get interesting? Blah blah blah, whatever you want to say, and all that. I do think that James's part at the beginning is interesting, and it gets more interesting when we do get to the fantasy aspect of it. Definitely have struggled a lot of back and forth with that. There's definitely scenes from it that have been cut, scenes from it that have been trimmed down. That was definitely a tough balance, since the first chapter is the most important chapter of the whole story.
What inspired the prologue scene and how it ended up in the final book? For example, how did you decide how the city was going to look and how the Archer ghosts were going to enter, etc.?
I wanted to show off their powers, who they were, so that's why I had, Calorono and Caleb flying on the fire dragon from the Flame Tribe, Basic riding the Earth, and then Aqua riding the wave and everything like that. The city aesthetic, I wanted it to fit the powers of the people that have their art. What would people who can travel through light, through reflections, through mirrors, blah blah blah? What would their city be like? That's why they have all of the glass buildings, the glass skyscrapers. It's not glass, it's their, kind of that unique material, stone and everything like that. So lots of that, and like that's why they kind of have like the narrower street, because that's really only for visitors. They can just kind of zip in and out, and we'll kind of see in later on that they can tint the glass, do different things so that people can't just walk up in your house and everything like that. But yeah, thought having a prison palace would be cool to reflect. They all use lightcraft and everything like that, and there's a lot of cool things that we'll be able to do with that in the future as well. With the slums part of the capital, and I included that with that being very emblematic of James's struggle. I think you could kind of see the struggle in this book
Mm-hmm.
and throughout as it's continued to be developed. Like in that first paragraph, like those kids we see and stuff like that, that could easily have been James and stuff like that. And a lot of the things that are described about those kids kind of represent James's story. Yeah, those slums are gonna have a really, really big impact. Story as things go along and everything like that. It's not just a chapter 5 thing or anything like that. I want to get you to see those things in the future as the next books continue to come out.
How did you come up with the concept of Archegos and each of their respective elements?
I definitely was super addicted and into Demon Slayer whenever I started writing Spirit Warriors, and I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
know I want my own Hashira in the story, and I was like, well, and it makes sense. I've got these different nations, kind of like that were inspired by Avatar, to give each of them a leader, and I was like, well, I've got these Hashiras, so like it makes sense for them to, you know, be these national leaders and stuff like that. I mean, Calorono, he was inspired by Uncle Iroh, kind of like we talked about in the video. And so he had fire, and so I was like, I think it fits his personality, and it fits the story that I want to tell as well. My dog Akpa, I wrote individual stories already for each of the Archegos. Their stories naturally ended up including what element that they were in, and I really like how everything turned out with them. Days that we'll get to see in the next book, being the Earth Archegos. Yeah, I think the way things turned out is like it only could have been the way it was, like with them having the elements that they have. The story couldn't be what it is if Aqua had was the the Fire Archegos or anything like that. Fit the role in their story very well. They're very representative, and there's a lot of thematic elements with that being each person's element within their characters and the future arcs that they have. And so yeah, really love the way it all.
Yeah, how did you come up with James, and was the protagonist always going to be James?
Yeah, the protagonist was always going to be James. He was initially inspired by me being like, what would I do if I was in anime? But like I kind of talked about before, he definitely evolved far beyond my initial kind of conception of him. He's definitely his own man, his own character. He does things that I definitely would not do, wouldn't agree with in a certain situation. Definitely there's things I would have handled better, and there's things that he handles
Mhm.
better than me if I was in that situation as well. So yeah, that's kind of how he started. I kind of looked at the traits that I liked the most from other characters, like main characters and stuff from other shows, fit them in, how they fit with the story and the different themes and lessons that I kind of wanted to teach and everything like that throughout the story. And so, yeah, how it all came together, I think is really interesting and unique that he's the main character that doesn't want to be the main character. He's the main character that doesn't even want to be in this predicament that he's in, but he's learning to embrace the plan that God kind of learned to make the most, the opportunity that he's been given, even if they're not the he was necessarily looking.
Yeah, did you have any other ideas for the prologue scene that you were going to do?
I actually did not have any other prologue ideas. This was kind of what I figured was going to be best. It conveyed everything that I was looking for, just kind of the turmoil between the nations based on the decisions that the
Yeah.
king of the spirit world had been making. So no, I actually didn't have any other ones, and I really like the way that this one turned out. In a lot of different iterations, this one. Hopefully, we picked the best one. I think it's a lot of really cool stuff there that will all be revealed and unfold in a lot of very interesting and intriguing ways that are going to reward and give that payoff for sticking around with it.
What made you go with James dying in the first chapter?
I really like isekais, and I feel like a lot of isekais are trash. Not very
Mm.
much effort put into them. We all know what I'm talking about. Just give that budget to me, and I will make Spirit Warriors into the greatest anime ever. I really like isekais. I feel like a lot of them haven't been done well, and I was like, I think this can be really good for I don't know, that genre, kind of like a ReZero is. Yeah, it just made sense to me. Whenever I was writing and outlining and plotting and everything like that, there's a lot to why he died and ended up in the spirit world, which that's something I go back and forth on if my foreshadowing was too heavy handed or not heavy handed enough. But a lot of times people don't figure out the things that I'm writing or going for, stuff like that, until later. I'm like, oh, like, did you see this, and this that were all leading to this? I think it's there. I think if you go read the first chapter, you can kind of parse out a
Yeah.
lot of how everything ended up happening the way that it did. Let us know in the comments below you guys'
Mhm.
theories on it. Made sense to me, especially for Milliard's character and Ray's character and how they interact with James is going forward with the future arcs and everything like that. For them all three to be there, the three poster children on the Spirit Wars cover, of course, and everything like probably the three most important characters in the story. And it was just very thematic too, because Milliard is kind of like a representation of James if his life all went the way that he would have wanted it to go. Ray is kind of the representation of if his life had went even just a little bit worse, some aspects, and the path that it would have put him on and had him on. So especially like one major decision point if it had gone differently. And so yeah, I mean they're all the same, different shades of the same character. If that makes sense. See as it goes along, and so it makes sense for them to all be there in the first chapter when the story is about them.
Were Gray and Milliard originally going to fight in chapter 1? What made you decide on their duel?
I was like, I don't know. I was just like, I wanted a big bombastic fight to happen in the first chapter, first episode, whatever you want to call it, whenever we get an anime. And like I said, I was on Demon Slayer, and I was like, Rengoku versus Akaza is the best fight ever. That's how I felt at the time. I was like, let's do it like a Rengoku versus Akaza, like big, bombastic, incredible fight, like just in the first chapter, everything like that. So that's kind of how I always wanted that. And, like I was saying before with Milliard and Gray, being the perfect characters for to kind of happen between. I think it turned out really, really well. I think that fight we were able to like really kind of show off how the power system kind of works a bit without having to explain. I think we were able to show well without having to tell too much about it. I think it kind of shows like that there's a lot of the intellectual aspect to the fight, especially like an environmental aspect, lots of strategy to all of the fights, which has been one of the things I'm most proud of with the story. I think all the fights are very unique, inventive, innovative, and they take in a lot of factors. And any Spirit Warriors fight could probably easily go the other way if small tweaks, different things happen to go in a different way for the characters, or even if just they were in a different environment. There's a lot of fights that if we were in a neutral site, the other person might win and everything like that. And so yeah, I think the fights are
Mm-hmm.
very deep, very complicated. Not complicated, I think complex in an accessible way that intriguing and very thematic, and they tell you a lot about all the characters and influence the growth that they have going forward. Too, I don't think we have very much action that's just fight just to fight, which am proud of that aspect.
What inspired the nations and their elements that they use?
Oh, Avatar for sure. Shamus played the Avatar, which is definitely one of the goats for sure. I was like, yeah, I want my own nations of every element, and I was like, all right, how do I spice it up to make it my own? So, we got a couple different ones, and the ones that I used, I think I used them very differently than Avatar did. Like for example, the Fire Nation, when they're warmongering this and
Mm-hmm.
that, Fire Lord and everything like that. And so I was like, I'll still give them their own Fire Lord, which I made the Phoenix King, which you can read about chapter 9, I think. But went a very, 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 very different direction with it, which I really like and I think is very cool and unique. And yeah, just different emphasis for sure for every element and every nation, everything like that than Avatar. Like the Flame Tribe, they're dancers, so they kind of use that stylistically with fighting and everything like that. And then there's different kinds of combat style within all the nations, which I really, really like, and different groups of people who fight differently with the elements and have different emphasis. Like there's people like in the Earth Tribe, for example, which we'll see in the next book, that there's some people that only use metal. There's some people that only use glass. There's some people that use sand. There's some people that use multiple, like two or three of those. It's kind of depending on who you are, how you were raised, who trained you, everything like that. I really like how it all turned out and how I was able to like really diversify it for all the different nations. Like with the Ocean Tribe, most of them are barbarian type in terms of how they fight. Like with brawlers, like berserkers is what I mean. Actually, they can fight reckless. They can take a lot of hits because they can heal the damage really quick and do a lot of damage as well. But it's not everyone fights like that, which we're especially going to the parts that I have to write. And we will see just even in this first arc too. Like Lawbringer, whenever we get to his fights stuff like that, he fights. He doesn't fight like that at all. He's the cowboy. But yeah, like for the Air Nation, I went with Wind and Lightning, which like Lightning and Avatar was on like a fire thing. Kind of made them very unique, which I like a lot. And I also added like there's a lot of depth to the power system within like each of the elements. That I'm not saying like wasn't there in Avatar, but it's like I was able to like kind of make in that way. Give a little spoiler for I guess it is next book. Like for example, like the ocean people, like depending on who you are, like where how advanced you are, like they can use things like controlling like the water pressure, like the humidity in an area, which isn't really something that we saw in Avatar. Like the Earth Tribe, they use magnetism a lot. They use like glass a lot, alluding to earlier. They do things with like math and different things of that nature. The wind people, they can make objects like weightless and they can control gravity and different things like that too. And I think the Light Nation, there's a lot of really cool stuff that they can do, like, red light, they can use waves, lots of different things like that. The people who can use Shadowcraft, their whole thing is pretty unique, complex too. Like it's definitely like a dark inversion of Lightcraft, but also has its own like really cool, unique things too. And yeah, I love the way the power system turned out. I love the way it interact when every new element is introduced. They all seem overpowered, and then we kind of see as we continue to learn like the different nuances and strengths and weaknesses that every tribe has against each other. And kind of just what I was saying before, like even if someone has a big advantage. Like any fight could go any way, which kind of adds that tension and leaves you on the edge of your seat, which I really so.
Were Connor, Camden, Benjamin, KJ, pretty much all of those other characters, were they placeholders or were they inspired by anyone in your life?
Yeah, they definitely were inspired by teammates that I've had in the past. They're definitely different and unique as opposed to them because they will all return future parts of the story. I don't think I super touched on it in the first video that we made, but all the details, all the characters that are named, everything like that, they all matter for the story, which kind of rewards. I know people don't like to read these days. I don't read a whole ton. That's not my own work, but I'm trying to get back into that. So I really wanted to reward the reader for reading and paying attention and to what's going on. I feel like I was able to do that. In a good way, and it will all get paid off. So yeah, all of those people were inspired by teammates that I've had and different things. Yeah, I'm excited to get to continue to use those in the future.
Yeah, was James and Micah's conversation, did they come from your own experiences with football in the past?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Micah, he's kind of James's dynamic with Micah is similar to the dynamic that me and my best friend Andrew have. Yeah, kind of took right from that generally with that conversation and everything like that. Like the way it turned out. I think it was funny. I don't think it dragged too long. I think it set a lot of things up for the future that are gonna be really cool whenever it all gets parsed out and revealed.
You know, are current they already out just knockoffs?
What'd you say? What a knockoff?
Anime we have here, like My Hero, for example, here. Why are they watching Hero Kids?
Whenever I was writing it, I didn't know what the exact rules were per se, but I love the way it ended up turning
Mm,
out, leaving them all like you'll see. There's gonna be a lot more references to other real life anime in the story. I think it's really funny using those knockoffs or whatever you're gonna say. My Hero at Home, and all that. I think it's really funny the way it's gonna get actually utilized in a plot relevant way later on. But yes, all anime in our world have a adjacent. I think it's gonna be really cool when we get to see how all that ends up mattering.
I guess since we're talking about that, if Spirit Warriors was an anime, what would say its first season intro and outro songs would be, and what art style would you want Spirit Warriors to be in? Like, for example, would you want it to have more of an art style of Attack on Titan, or Kaiju Number 8, or Jujutsu Kaisen?
I love Don to Don. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the art style would have some similarities to Don to Don, but I think Jujutsu Kaisen for sure is probably the closest. Ideally, it would look as beautiful as Demon Slayer, or even more. I mean, I think To Be Hero is some aspects is close for sure, if not better. So Jujutsu Kaisen at times look better, but not overall. I don't think anyone has ever made one that looks overall. At least it's not like I don't know. I haven't seen like Studio Ghibli films super uniquely stylized. I don't touch Demon Slayer. Hopefully ours looks as good as Demon Slayer. Ufotable will hit my line. And I definitely think Don to Don, Jujutsu Kaisen would be like the main art styles we're kind of going for. That's kind of like what we're looking at while making the comic right now. Opening song, Chainsaw Man. I was sick, man. The last episode of Chainsaw Man, they stole my Spirit Warriors opening song. It's been my song for
Mm,
years. For years, way before Chainsaw Man came out. But it don't matter. But it's Fight Song by Eve.
yeah.
Hopefully we can still get it and use it, or make our own unique one. And outro, I think my favorite outro, it was the Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 outro. Oh yeah,
Which
I
part?
Hidden Inventory.
Oh, I know that song.
Yeah, we might just put it
I'm
on
pretty
screen.
sure it's Akari, that one.
Yeah,
That's what
I
it's
guess
called.
maybe that's what I guess says on the picture. I love that one, so we'll go with that.
That wraps up my questions.
Yeah, no, for sure. We're definitely getting close to our time. We're usually gonna have a hot takes section after whatever our main topic is, which was prologue and chapter 1 discussion. That was like our main topic for the day. We'll probably go ahead and skip that hot take section. We'll just save those for next week. This will be the end of this week's episode. So thank you guys who tune in and watch the episode live. And yeah, we will be on periodically while we're going ahead and filming these episodes. I think once school starts, it's always gonna be Sunday. So yeah, these next couple weeks, turn your post notifications on. See us when we're live because we don't have a set date, like just where we're always gonna be on live yet. But I will pretty much always be on streaming on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, or Sundays. So definitely come and check back with us to see if we're live those days. I'm trying to been consistently those days, but a lot of things coming up, like I was saying before, trying to get this comic going and everything like that, that might keep me from it. But yeah, so thank you for those who came to tune in live. Thank you for checking us out, checking out the Spirit Warriors podcast, and we'll be back next week with more Spirit Warriors content, more anime gaming content, and all that fun stuff. So yeah, we will see you guys next time. We're always gonna have like a recommendation too. My recommendation is watch Donadon if you haven't watched it. If you haven't read it, read it. And To Be Hero X are other ones. I feel like not a lot of people.
Yeah.
To Be Hero X is not getting enough buzz as compared to how good that it is. Yeah, that'll be it for the first episode,
Yep.
the inaugural, the historic, the world famous first Spirit Warriors podcast. Catch me on Deathloop, hopefully tomorrow night. If not tomorrow night, definitely Saturday. And we'll see you guys next time. All right, that's it. But we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.